This is Michael Simpson. I want to do a quick video for Coach Patrick and for Daniel, just so you guys during Ironman Texas, and basically just got in under the gun. And if it wouldn't have been for you guys and for Endurance Nation, I would have never made it. Just kind of a quick recap about me. I started following Endurance Nation probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, and just doing some sprints, and thought one day I'd do an Ironman, full Ironman, but was planning on doing one several years in the future. And Ironman Texas got announced kind of at the last minute, and I thought this was probably a good time to check in or jump in the pool. So then I did the rally, joined the team a little bit after that, and then did the event. Basically wanted to thank you guys for not only all the team stuff for the training camps, but just for all the free stuff that you guys put out there. Made a huge difference in my life, and I've preached that and spread the word for Endurance Nation after that. A little summary on kind of what happened with me on race day. Basically, I'm a back of the pack kind of guy. I knew I would be in probably around 15 hours and a half, 16 hours, and I was real happy with that, just as long as I got finished. Did the rally, had a pretty good bike. I think I averaged 18 miles an hour or so. So that's great for me, and my fitness level was going up from there. And then about mid-April, I did a charity ride that I do every year. It's a 2-day 160 170 mile ride, 100 miles on the first day, having the day of my life. All my training was going well, all the high intensity work was paying off, and my knee started hurting, and basically I haven't stopped hurting since then. And got off from that week, finished the charity ride, but was having some real severe pain, and had to scale my training back by a lot, and basically was going from 13 hours a week of training, sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little bit lower, to about 4 hours a week this past month, and just still doing some swimming. That didn't hurt my knee, but biking with any kind of intensity did, and same thing with running. Had my bike fit checked again and had it readjusted. My seat may have dropped down, which may have caused issue or flared up the initial issue. So when I stepped up to the starting line for Ironman Texas, my fitness levels basically had gone down the toilet, even for me, because of the injury. I peaked probably about a month ago, and last couple of weeks, my highest workout week I had was 4 hours, and I just was trying to get to the starting line, and just kept pushing through. My foot started killing me near the end of the first lap, because I'd been pouring water on me constantly, using ice, and then my craft shirt over my head. I carried a water bottle, which I never do, and the sole purpose wasn't even to drink out of it. It was just to splash on my neck, on my head, in addition to using all the sponges. So after the first lap, I was drenched like I'd jumped in a pool. And my feet paid the price for that. I never get blisters, but my feet are just in agony at that point, and it just started getting worse. But I just kept pushing through, and was happy that I didn't feel good, but I didn't feel like I was gonna fall out if I just kept this mile walker pace. So kept going, and came up to the end of lap 2. Still knew I was real close. Knew I was behind, but what I did tell myself was, hey, look, we're going to wait till mile 18, and we're going to even apply the 4 keys to somebody who's trying to get in under midnight, and at mile 18, I'm going to start kicking in and some jogging, and then slowly ramp that up to where if I do fall out, it's at the finish line, or we can push it up till right up to that edge, and then back it off and get through the finish. And but I saw Daniel a little bit before that, probably a mile or so before, kind of near the end of the second loop, and he comes out. I think it's where everybody was hanging out that had already finished, and again, words of encouragement, which was super helpful. But the killer came is he dropped the reality on me, and he said essentially, hey, like, I've been where you've been before. I know you want to quit, You're good on that? And I'm thinking instantly, well, no, I don't want to quit. I've focused myself and trained myself mentally enough. I wasn't going to quit, but I knew I might not be able to make it. And he said, you've got this, keep going. And again, I'm really believing what he has to say. And he said, but here, he basically said, here I'm telling you, or something like that, that you're going to have to start running. You can make it, but you're gonna have to get some of these miles. You're gonna have to get less than 15-minute miles. Which at that point I was like right around 15:30 or so for the whole time. And I thanked him. I don't know if you remember that, Daniel, but I knew, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he, unlike everybody else who's been super supportive and being awesome, this guy's giving it to you straight. My family and friends were awesome as well. And they told me, mile one, I've got this and we're good and just keep doing this. But I could still do some somewhat basic math and knew that the numbers, weren't looking good. So at that point, I said, well, we may have to move up the mile 18 business and start doing a slow jog now. And then that's what I did. So started jogging a little bit before mile 18, trying to make up some time, watching my heart rate. It's going through the roof. And, I'd back it down, go again. And basically did the third loop like that, just thinking about his words, thinking about how much time I had looking at kind of the watch, in the dark and the mileage markers, and trying to kind of play that game to see how far I could go just to try to get in. And that's made all the difference in the world. I would jog some, even for just as short as 30 seconds, and then have to walk some, cooling off at the aid stations, just going as fast as possible. And doing the third lap, knowing that we're real close to the gun, and just basically rinse and repeated, and finally made it in. And so in less than 5 minutes, as I crossed the finish line, I'd come to grips early on that I might not make it. That I wouldn't call myself an Ironman if I didn't get in under 17 hours, but that I'd be proud of my accomplishment for just finishing. And but knowing how close I could, knowing how close I was, I knew it was possible. And I even repeated that verbally throughout the entire course. Even when I was walking, my 1 mile walk, even the first lap, and the sun's still out, that I could do this, that it was possible. Hold off, get to mile 18, and let's see what happens. So anyway, that's a long way of saying I just wanted to thank you guys. This is kind of a one-time thing for me, and every little bit that I could soak up from you guys, from the blogs to the videos to the audio casts, which are all on my computer, just draining in all that stuff, not even training plan specific stuff, but all the mental aspect. And I thought just over and over how many times I'd heard Coach Patrick say, hey, look, there'll be guys on race day that are fitter than you, have faster bikes, and they won't execute on race day, and that they're gonna pay the cost. And I've got an expression that I've used even since my first Olympic in 1994, when I wasn't in shape and I did it. And slow turtle wins the race. And it's a little ridiculous because I'm never actually trying to win a race, but I do have that mentality of just kind of keep pushing, don't quit, grind on. And sure enough, that happened. On race day, even at mile 80, my bike's going horrible. Performance is in the toilet, and I'm a little bit down about it. And I'm looking around, and some people had mechanical failures, and that just that bites. But I saw guys dropping out because of the heat, because they didn't have their nutrition dialed in, because they went too hard early on in the bike, and they were fitter than me. They had better bikes than me, better wheels than me, and they're dropping out at 80. And I didn't wish any ill will on any of those competitors, but the fact of the matter is, I'm thinking of the 4 keys when I'm looking at those guys. And even up until my mall walk of a marathon, I saw guys at the end. I saw 2 guys on my 3rd lap, so this was really late, laying on the side of the road with people standing over them, looking super fit. And at some point they didn't execute on race day. So I'm here to, it's kind of a testament to that you got to do the work. I mean, I worked hard, really honed in my diet, hired a dietitian, got my weight down 50 pounds to even just be able to give myself a chance to be able to get through it. And at the end of the day, I'm an Ironman. I finished it, just barely, but I got it in. And it basically was all about execution. Look at 5 minutes, how I could have wasted 5 minutes of going too hard and then having to recoup that, and I don't finish. And have that cool finisher medal. So thanks a lot, guys. I can't thank you enough. Daniel, I hope you just know that what you did is very similar to the championships last year when the guy pulls up on the scooter and he tells the guy that he can make it, keep it up. I never got the sense you were trying to emulate that, but what you did, what that guy did for the guy in Kona, you did that for me, and I'll never forget it, and I'll be eternally grateful for it, because without it, I could have got the distance in, but I wouldn't have got it in by midnight. And now that I did it, it makes all the difference in the world. So thanks, guys. For anybody else, I'm here to tell you, Endurance Nation, great for super elite athletes. They get guys to Kona. They also get fat guys that have a regular life and train an average amount, and they can get them over the finish line, sometimes against all odds. Thanks, guys.